Wow, that scared me.
I heard that
This
coming.
is now going on the permanent record. All right, well, we have no guests. And we have no city council liaison. So, we did not get a printout of the minutes, Deborah. Did you have a chance to look at them in the email? Or would you like a moment to look at them in the email?
Yes, I can look at them quickly.
Okay. We will take just a moment to review the minutes. I will also look them back over because I don't have to actually edit them anymore. Take them at face value. Mhm,
Attendance.
mhm. See.
Do I include Karen?
Yes. We should include you, right, Karen, in the minutes?
Yeah, you can say staff around and like.
Well, of course, you're here.
Okay.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I motion
Tina
to approve.
is moving to approve the minutes,
I
will
will second.
and Deborah is seconding. And all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You can vote, 'cause you weren't here.
Okay.
So everyone else, we have enough people that the ayes have it. Great. We do in fact have our financial statement. And except for the first 4 lines, it's all this year. It looks a lot better. All these things that we did were a lot more affordable this year than last. Does anything look weird on here? I still need to get Emily's gift card.
How come this one musician is 120? Weren't they all 100?
No, and that was Music Quest. He was 120.
Was he the guy here? Okay, I thought they were all 100.
No.
We'll talk about art and music for a minute, but I heard good things while I was walking around.
Did we get something for Louise as a departing commissioner?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got a card. Yeah. Because when I went to Spiral, I joked with them about how I probably shouldn't get one of Louise's cards to give her. For gift certificate.
Even though that goes in her pocket.
Right. Well, that was the dilemma. I mean, she's got the card.
Conduit.
Give her a couple of extra bucks. Yeah, I don't see. Either of those on here. Give card to Jean. That's weird. Oh, you know why? Because that was probably 2021 for Louise. I mean, we have one thing on here from October, although I'm not sure why, but I will double check.
Okay.
And make sure that we are counted for
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But everything else looks good to me.
We have all of the one-page expenses except for food, but all the checks have been cut. I am still expecting, I'm trying to find one more middle grade reader for December with Roseanne. But otherwise, all of that is already on here. So one page is covered mostly for the year. Is there anything still? I did just submit the check request for $600 for Kalaya. So that will go on here, but is there anything else outstanding? Anything anyone hasn't turned in? Except for Emily's gift? Great. Okay, well, shall we consider it reviewed? Any concerns? I am not aware of any mail or correspondence. We do have some, we did get emails about some grants, both from the city and outside the city, but we'll talk about those more on Saturday, but nothing pressing. Moving right along. Tina, how did the art and music crawl go?
I thought it went pretty great. We had a lot of people from the community, a lot of people participating. And everybody I talked to seemed happy with it, and the artists, the musicians as well.
Yeah, everyone was super stoked while I was walking around. I mean, I think that again, like everything else, the only thing that could have been better is getting the word out more. Because there were a lot of people that seemed to just like, especially coming around that corner, like, what is going on? And we'll have to talk about that, I guess, on Saturday, how we do a better job of that.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
you guys did everything that I would have thought would work.
it was
so.
in the city newsletter. We were constantly posting it on the neighborhood watch sites. I posted it on the Sandy site too. So, Sandy people were aware. It was on our
Signs.
Facebook page. There were signs all over town. The reader board thing, although it's angled weird, had something on it. So, and it was in the city newsletter too, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Did we get it in Pamplin?
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know.
You mean people read newspapers?
Like I said.
There's an
I don't know who
online
reads that.
edition.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me.
Well, no, that's fine. And there used to be somebody that, Elizabeth?
Emily.
Emily.
And
Yes.
she's back.
Oh, she's
S-
back.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
great.
like freelance now,
So,
so.
right on. So we can start reaching back out to Emily,
Mhm.
I guess.
Is she reporting for Pamplin as a freelance
Yes.
now? Wonderful.
Mhm.
Cause I'd heard Teresa Carlson was also doing part-time for SDK area, so
Great.
they at least have a few people assigned, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who reads Pamplin. But it would be just one more thing to be sharing on social media, I guess. I mean, I do think we're doing what we can.
I mean,
So,
if, once we revisit what kind of budget, then we can
right.
talk about how much bigger a sign could be.
Or, I don't know, if they have one that goes across like downtown, maybe we can put
Yeah,
one
banner.
up,
Yeah, yeah,
banner up
there's-
next time.
Mhm. Yeah, so, but I walked around, the businesses were excited, the artists were excited. I know there's a pretty good crowd at Rick and Barb, so as expected.
Yeah, they had a good crowd. I had an awesome picture of the sun setting right over them.
Oh,
The only thing I would think is that we would need to make sure if we do this again, we would need to have more shade for the people like at Lou's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, we, tents and things like that, or canopies or whatever. Difficult to visualize in Oregon that there's gonna be beating sun. So, yeah, I think that, could have been bigger. Otherwise, I think it went great. And hopefully the people who went. I mean, have you seen anything on social media or did you afterwards, people talking about it?
No.
I did. I
Good.
heard
You
some
did?
feedback, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just more. Sort of the repetition of people getting familiar with
Right.
things happening, or maybe
Right.
even a couple times.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that's out
Yeah.
of reach as far as budgeting and planning is concerned, but
And the thing is, like. Summer celebration, which is going to be the casting a tall shadow, long shadow for ages. I mean, like, they had a whole like newspaper. And so, that was like. Pages of events and sponsors and all of that. And so, I think that. People were still expecting something like that, but I think this was a really good. I think it was way better than last year, right? Closer to this event that everyone is so tied to. I think, and then Nicole wanted to talk on Saturday about making an art and music thing at the new Wade Creek
Yes.
and doing something there instead of a crawl, having an event like that in one place, and we could get a better idea then of reach, because there would be a single crowd to look at.
Yes.
So, but I think that it went fantastic. I think that people, Ellen at Artsmith.
Yes.
She was so excited.
Yes.
And absolutely could not stop, just glowing and beaming and saying great job to you all, and that was, I think that was great. It got our name out there, it got some music and some art on the literal streets and something for people to do, and so really great job. Awesome. How'd the chalk walk go? We get rid of all the chalk?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, we did.
I ground a lot of chalk into that sidewalk.
Well, I still have the good chalk. That we'll save for next year, but all the kid chalk was distributed. Yes.
Again, were people posting?
Not nearly as much as I would have hoped. I was walking around, it was probably after the art and music crawl, and I was down on Lakeshore, and there were some great drawings down there.
No.
They were already started to fade. So I think next year I need to make it a priority to just go around myself. Just kind of get out in the neighborhoods, or maybe break up and have a couple different people do that.
Right. Or the idea of it's like a scavenger hunt,
Mhm.
plant some drawings, maybe. and-
That would be a great collaboration with parks.
Yeah,
or like. You go find an installation and then add to it or something.
yeah, that would also be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, find the beginning of a drawing of a, tree or whatever, add more something, yeah. Yeah, I think it's such a cool thing, and that's another one where it's just hard to figure out how it is what the best way to. All the social media sites, you have to buy ads for people to see stuff, and like, we're not gonna. I mean, I guess we can budget such a thing, but that would be something to talk to Sadie about.
Is there a way to interact directly with the school? I mean, it seems like that's the kind of thing that would be entertaining to, elementary, middle school age kids, or even co-opting with art teachers. I don't know if that's.
There's certainly a way. It so far hasn't worked with one page.
Okay.
I mean, I went in person to the high school and the middle school and the district office, and then sent emails, and I have no idea if anyone has ever heard. Despite people smiling and nodding at me and going, oh yeah, great, we'll tell people.
Right.
I have no clue if they did or not.
They don't send it home in the
Right. Tina's the only.
I'm like,
I haven't
what?
heard anything. But you did say that you don't read the emails, right?
I glance at them when it says football game, bye. Sports, bye. There could have been some fine print. I don't let them have my phone number either because the school district has abused their right to my phone number because
Did they just
Their
text you
privileges.
unsolicited text?
they used to call constantly and my kids would be going to Eagle Creek and they would call me about high school football games and they'd call me for each kid I had enrolled in the district. So I would get like 3 phone calls and none of my kids went to that school. And so I made the secretary take my phone number out. I'm like, you can only call me for an emergency. These aren't emergencies. Don't call me.
Yeah, so I mean, I do think that's a great idea, and I don't know how we engage better.
Well, I think the issue with the school and the chalk walk is that the chalk walk is in summer and school is not in session.
Yes,
Right.
that's what the chop, but, yes. But I mean, people are still in district office, they could still send out emails, right?
Theoretically, yes. But
that's
I
a good
will
point.
tell you, none of my little things started dinging until just before school started, so.
Mm.
I mean, it is somewhat of a stretch to ask the,
School district.
to do things during.
Well, they do have summer school, I think.
Leave them alone.
Okay. How was National Night Out?
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we had at least 100 people. Everyone
Awesome.
seemed to have a great time.
How was that professional face painter?
She was very nice, very good, but I did make contact with someone local who's a little less expensive, so I'll
Awesome.
probably go with her next time. Yeah, but it was a nice event.
Oh, that's
And I look forward to somebody else running with it next year.
right on.
That was always the plan from the get-go.
Okay, well, one page is next week. It will be at the library. I never followed up, but I thought that the posts that you made were lovely. I didn't have any changes to recommend. Did we get them to
To who?
Elena?
Yeah, there was an event posted.
Okay, good.
Also
Yeah.
was sent to the schools.
Okay,
I sent directly to principals because I thought that might be more effective. No response, so who knows?
I met with, oh. Are they Ant? It's not Ant Farm, but they work with Ant Farm. At the event that was here. Oh, what's it called? Like. Thing that Deborah, you and Nicole did last time. Did
What's
we-
up, Estacada?
What's up, Estacada, yes.
Mhm.
So I showed up and everyone had these like tables that were super decked out with displays and everything, like very set up, and everyone was very surprised to see me. So I texted Nicole saying, I don't think that they were expecting us to have a table, or else we would have. I'm not just gonna stand at an empty table when everyone has like displays and things. But I talked to them, to these 3 women who work with Ant Farm. They were really excited about the September event. And so I have a follow-up email to send to them because they can engage a bunch of kids, they said, and they love the idea, so we'll see.
What kind of response are you expecting from the schools? Are you wanting from the schools?
Well, again, it's summer, so that's tricky, but it is the beginning of the school year. We were hoping for English teachers to tell their students who love to write to come to the open mic. Read their work, because in September, it's all kids.
Okay, I'll bug Amy.
I mean, we had 4 open mic readers at the last one, which is more than we've had at any of the adult ones.
All right, I'll see if I can get any traction from Amy because she knows who I am. I don't know if that'll help, but
I mean, I would have loved to do something like this when I was in junior high. I mean, I had a very, very, very high opinion of my writing.
well, Amy's the high school. I would find somebody else to engage Ben. Like Mike should engage Ben.
At the middle school?
Mhm.
Mm. Well, yeah, so we had one 14-year-old and three, we were guessing what, 8-year-olds? So, and our readers this time are Waka Brown, who is a Japanese American writer who has written middle grade memoir, and and also a fiction.
Mhm.
think
Yeah, her
fiction.
newest one's fiction.
Yeah. WAKA, Waka Brown, and then Michelle Ruiz. Whose latest books are,
Same as Tina Ruiz.
yes, she has a second last name. That I'm blanking on currently. Her last two books were for grown-ups. But prior to that, Michelle had written YA. So it would be cool to have some high schoolers, because I think Michelle's gonna read YA. Waka will be reading middle grade, but I also know that it's sometimes a stretch to get high schoolers to come to any event that is
I was
a
gonna
family
say,
night. I would have rather died.
yeah, when I was in high school, I wouldn't have attended, but I'll ask Amy to talk to the English teachers. And then you wanted littler kids there?
Well, it's just it's family night, right? So the two readers, one reader is middle grade and one reader is YA. And so, again, our open mic readers, I did not expect 8-year-olds, but they were a delight. And I would
I
have
mean,
an event for all 8-year-old readers.
unfortunately, I know all the principals except for Clackamas River. So, I mean, I could say something to Jennifer, but I think somebody else engaging Ben would go over better at the middle school.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So as far as one page goes, we have Saturday, we have September's event, and then November and December, skipping October. And that is it. And we'll talk on Saturday, see if we want to keep doing it. The readers in November are Kim Stafford and Justin Hawking, former Oregon Poet Laureate and Oregon Book Award winner. So it should be really great. And Roseanne Perry, A Wolf Called Wander, is that right? Her most famous book is A Wolf Called Wander, which is middle grade, right? Or is it YA?
It's middle grade and it's wonderful. Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah, and she seems really, really nice. She was super excited about it. She wanted to, she was like, here's how you partner with a bookstore to get like a mobile bookstore at your event. And I was like, yeah, so far getting like 5 people to show up. So we are definitely not going to be shipping a bookstore out to the library just yet. But thank you so much. Really good ideas. She was super excited and she gave me a long list. And so far I haven't gotten any traction on it, but other people who might be willing to. The first 3 people I reached out to were all really excited about it, but had conflicts. Whether that's true or not. I mean, they have conflicts, but we'll see. So, yeah, we're on schedule for those. Dia de los Muertos.
Yes.
It's the Deborah show.
October 29th. Think
I still have 11.
we moved it to
Yeah.
12 to 2:30
Right? Okay.
to leave room for the trick or trot, which starts at 3.
And it's
um,
right across the street, so that should not be
Yeah, it should be
a
fine.
burden for anyone. They probably want to park the library anyway.
Yeah,
I
they
would.
might. Yeah, so far, Ant Farm will be doing an activity and a resource table. Oregon State University Extension at the early literacy event. ran into someone from there, said how much we missed Elena, who brings the smoothie bike for the kids to ride. And didn't even finish my email and heard from Elena that, oh, I'd be happy to come back to Estacada. So that's wonderful. We've got her booked and she's so great. Yeah, so Sugar Skulls and Todo Santos will probably also bring a craft. So I think we're really, if we're funding Face Painter,
Oh, yeah.
it's, that's
The
pretty
light.
much
The light.
done
Super
and
fun.
just needs promotional materials created.
Oh, yeah. Is there any music?
I did not book any music just because it's a room about this size and with the bike and Sugar Skulls and that face painter and 2 other crafts already getting
What about
pretty
like a DJ?
crowded.
You just want ambient, you want me to just do a playlist or some, you know what I mean, just bring something.
That would be
liven up the-
wonderful.
Yeah. That's always what I do at
Mhm.
any event, is just bring something to, it's like booze, you know what I mean? It's just kind of, it just sort of lubricates the room a little bit, so that everyone's not just like doing that thing where they're standing around, there's something to listen to. Also, when we were in school at Park Rose, briefly, we lived in Portland, we came in contact with some really awesome mariachi bands. So I'm trying to accumulate a little portfolio of music groups that are 2 and 3 people that are kind of acoustic and that we could apply to some of these events. I've been talking with some other people. I talked with Emily at the crawl
Mhm.
and was just like, so how did you do, you know, and so that we're sort of in cahoots a little bit, but I want to hopefully take the lead and fill that in when there are events, so we can just liven it up or round it out or something.
If you are willing to look for something that's like a smaller scale, not a full mariachi band,
right.
that would be amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
one or two people.
1 or 2 people, yeah, I
And
would
so all
love
this
that.
Stuff is happening.
Mhm.
So there could be music in the like foyer.
Potentially.
Or, you know, I mean, if this is happening in October and we're sort of not short on time, but don't have too big of a lead out, you know, just the background.
Yeah, yeah.
would-
Yeah, a DJ, a set, a playlist or whatever, would be great. If there's somebody, yeah, so it's 10/29, so 2 months. And how much were musicians paid at the $100?
I think so.
Approximately $100 a piece. There were a couple that were more. There's one on here that's 185 and I'm not sure about that one, but
We're really good.
I mean, so, you know, we could pay somebody a little bit of money.
Okay. I mean,
if you know.
most working class musicians are trying to
Yeah.
earn 80 to 100 bucks for an outing, you know what I mean? So that's totally reasonable.
So that's a great idea. Is Nicole doing the coloring contest?
I am.
Oh, how's the coloring contest going?
Well, I need to find somebody to make the sheet for me again, but I have ideas in my head. Like I was thinking, I don't know, a logger as a scarecrow in a cornfield, because you know, I don't want to get too Halloweeny, but I want it to be fallish. So, you know, I've got ideas. I just need somebody who can draw, and that's not me.
What are we looking for? Cartoon coloring book?
For the
I like
coloring
kind of like what they
contest.
have at Harvest Market with the little.
Yeah,
I can probably do something like that. You want a scarecrow logger?
I think that the more coloring contests we can have with the logger, the better.
With this logger?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he
yeah.
have a title or a name or something?
We call him the logger. I think
The
that's his
logger.
title. That's his
Yeah.
title.
Our very first one was design a costume for the logger, for last fall, right?
Well, then I wonder if maybe they should dress up the logger as a scarecrow.
Well, I will tell you that my original plan was that whoever won the coloring contest was the costume we were gonna put on the logger.
Oh,
But
so this is
that was
actually,
logistically like shot down with much rational logical thinking.
No one's dressing up the lager.
We're like, it's a really great idea that it's absolutely not
Only
gonna happen.
if we can like extend that to Pride Month too, and then.
So no dressing up the lager, but I do love the idea though of coloring contest, you know, the lager as Easter Bunny, the lager as a scarecrow, the lager as a, you know.
I mean, at first I was thinking of a pumpkin head, but then I thought that might be too, I don't know.
We don't
Think
wanna
of odd
disrespect
greenish,
the
right.
lager.
Right.
I know that he's
Right.
very,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that yes, there's a
Central.
fine line between celebrating and mocking.
So
But-
scarecrow seems simpler and
It is. We won't know where the line is until we know.
so we cross it.
Right. But yeah, I think scarecrow, I think lager and scarecrow is great. I mean, yeah, you could easily just have like a kind of a cornfield around and some crows and the lager. You wouldn't necessarily be
the lager as a ghost.
messing up the lager or anything.
Put a silly hat on him and
Okay.
a
Well,
pitchfork in his
awesome.
hand and call
All
it
right.
good.
Well, Mike and Tina will discuss the coloring contest sheet.
Okay.
I'll come up with some preliminary design
So
with my 8-year-old.
let's talk a little bit about the fall retreat. I printed up the draft schedule agenda, which I do need to finalize and get to Sadie for posting. So I just wanted to talk through it a little bit and see if we could brainstorm anything to add to it. We will be here from 10 to 2 as a reminder. We will take a lunch break. We're gonna get lunch, I think, from Harmony. And we'll probably have breakfast from Harmony too, is my guess, like pastries and coffee or something when we get here. I'll have those. So we'll start off by talking about like the kind of businessy stuff. Look over what we talked about for last year and the seats that are going to be open in December. If your seat is going to be open in December, be thinking about whether or not you want to reapply. You know, obviously it's not a binding conversation, but it will help us plan. We will talk through briefly the roles. I added a role on here, which is social media. Because I think that is a role, right? Getting all that stuff
Yes.
together. So I don't want us to downplay the time commitment. So I added it as a role.
Can we reach out to Jessie, the other applicant, and just sort of ask her if she still intends to apply for an
Oh,
open
yes.
seat?
Yeah, we would for sure do that, especially if we get word
That there
on
are
the open, that there will be open positions, yeah.
Okay.
So, I know my position is open, and that's the only one I know of. Keeping tabs on it.
I think mine was 2 years, so I don't know.
They're all 2 years, I believe. I think they're all 2 years,
I
right?
thought some of them were longer.
No, it's because they overlap, right? So you lose half of everybody each year. And as far as I know, there's only 2.
And is Mike's up in December too? 'Cause you stepped into Emily's, right?
Yes, so yours is up in December as well.
So you'll have to
And it
be
looks like Carl's is.
And Carl.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah, so it's the 3 of us, is that it?
Yep.
So yeah, be thinking about whether you'll get like 2 meetings and have to decide if you want to make a 2-year commitment.
Well, I also have all these like totally cheesy holiday ideas for music stuff,
Yeah.
just to kind of, you know, I mean, I think that that's the one thing that everybody in the community can be like, I like to do that, you know,
Right.
is just go listen to something that's sort of seasonal or reminiscent or whatever. I mean, that's the whole idea we try and invoke with a lot of music, is just bringing people on the same wavelength.
And it's a great opportunity for collaboration, either with downtown commission or Parks and Rec.
Downtown
Um,
Commission. Because don't they do the whole like tree lighting,
I
that whole
believe
thing?
that's,
And then I can give some of my crusty musician friends some money to come out and perform. Cause I was just thinking caroling with like horns, you know what I mean? Just going through the standards, and it's a simple enough ensemble. It's not really too big of a production. We don't need a PA or anything like that, so.
Right.
Okay.
Great, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about collaboration opportunities. And one thing that I think would be great would be to kind of assign liaisons to the commissions we want to collaborate with. Not saying like someone would have to go to every meeting, but like reach out to the chair and say, here's what we want to do, and go to a meeting and say, here's what we're hoping to do, and I'll check back in 2 months, or, you know, something like that. But that way, we're not, especially the crazy telephone game of telephone that happened where poor DEIC thought we wanted them to fundraise for us. For a little minute there. Good thing they're all still talking to us, because I'd have been mad.
I mean, if they want to fundraise for us.
Right. I'm not saying you guys can't, feel free, but no expectation. And then I put on here communication plan, and that's just where I was talking about earlier, how we plan our events to get the word out as much as we possibly can. And, you know, I don't know, and I can talk to Sadie to see if we can do things like buy Facebook ads. I don't know. I do know, having known a few small business owners, that once you start buying Facebook ads, you pretty much can't not buy Facebook ads. They get like increasingly higher pressure, and when you don't buy ads, nobody sees your stuff. So I would totally understand if they don't want us to do that, but I also just don't really know how else to make social media work other than, you know, people seeing it by luck. So anyway, we'll talk about that. Nicole wanted me to add on here the storage for EAAC, figuring all that out. Where the storage is, who has keys, whose stuff is where, because I know there are a couple, we've got some stuff upstairs, there's a somewhere else, right? There's
Isn't there a storage facility somewhere?
yeah, storage.
Yes, there is
I've heard tell.
a trailer at Public Works that will need to be cleaned out at some point. A
Yeah.
lot of the items that are in there are, I wouldn't say specifically our items, but they are summer celebration items.
Right, okay.
Um,
we'd have to figure out.
So at some point, somebody is going to have to take responsibility for saying where those items should go.
Carl has taken responsibility.
And I
I'm good at
personally
shucking.
think that maybe that should be up to city staff, but
Right. Yeah, okay, so anyway, that's on here. We'll talk about that. Take a break, and then we'll talk about next year's calendar. And the real agenda is gonna have the same sheet that we had last year, for those of you following along at the at-home game, where it had each season and a couple of line items for each season that we can fill in what the event is, who wants to do it, and brainstorm a budget, a possible cost, so that we can do that on Saturday and get an idea. We did a lot this year. Like, because I'm a super overachiever, which is why I should definitely not be in this role. I was like, we're not doing enough. And then when I gave that update to the city council, it was so long. Embarrassingly long. And everyone was super floored. So just to say, we do not need to do as much. I mean, it would be better, I think, to do few things and put more into those things than spread ourselves too thin. So we will look at the calendar. I have a couple of things on here. The library displays. Oh, and it still says Project General. I'll take that out. That was from last year. You know, thinking about how many change outs we want to do in a year and what that might look like. One page, but also potentially music or art equivalents. Like, what could a music or art equivalent one page be? Which would potentially be like, maybe one page happens once a quarter, and maybe a music event happens once a quarter, and maybe an art event happens once a quarter, and then there's our 12 months instead of, and so then each of those things could be a little bigger.
I mean, you could always do a music open mic, but I don't know how you do that with art and, unless it's like one of
Well,
those
it
little
could be something like somebody
paint by
teaching.
number thing or
Well, yeah,
something.
it could be somebody teaching a class, right? It could be, I'm actually gonna be teaching a collage class of corporeal writing in Portland. And there are a lot of people that do like, one evening of teaching you how to draw faces or, I don't know, whatever. It's possible.
That would be so popular.
Yeah.
We have at the library that crafting, art related stuff is so popular. It's an over, people love it. So
Yeah, I think
we
that,
would definitely be willing to host that for you.
and I think that, I think that it would, if somebody has a business where they teach classes, then they would love to come and teach a class and potentially get a bunch of new students, right? It's the same thing with the writers coming to read their work and hoping to find readers. So, and yeah, whether it's a music open mic or like, and I was talking to Mike about this, there's a really cool event that happens in Portland called the Low Bar Chorale, CHORALE. Choral. And it's a professional band and a band's leader, and they set up at a bar and they teach the audience to sing popular songs in like 4-part harmony. And so the whole bar is singing at once, sing your own Messiah, except it's like Prince's version of Nothing Compares to You. And their theory is people like to sing, but a lot of people don't like to be the only one singing. But the whole room is singing. And let me tell you, it is one of the most fun things that I have done. in
Wasn't
Portland.
me.
Hmm?
Oh, when you sing, it's like, it wasn't me, it was.
Right, exactly. But you
Environment.
don't have to know anything about harmony or anything like that, right? Because the band leader is just like, here's what the high part sounds like, who likes that, right? So they'll do the high part a couple of times, and then here's the middle part. They put it all together. And I'm not saying that exact thing, but that could be also the sort of thing where it's a,
Does anybody know any piano players in town? 'Cause that's kind of an fundamental part of group.
Oh, my
chorus stuff.
neighbor, I've got a neighbor, she teaches music.
Yeah,
She's a teacher in Oregon City, actually, works for the school district and.
Actually, I
that's the
think
only
my
one I know
neighbor
of.
is a music teacher somewhere too. She just moved in recently, so I don't know where, but
they don't have a piano, but they do have a band that like has band, like the band members are like they tour with big acts in off season. So,
well,
but they have done events. So, I mean,
they have their strategy down.
but also they could, you could maybe bring them out.
Also, is there anywhere, this is kind of a stupid question, to host a musical open night that's not a bar? Or that's not how that works? Everybody, you need
I
to,
mean,
it's
the
like karaoke
library
without bar.
probably has space or something
Right.
like that.
But not a PA.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
would definitely attract. more
Harmony,
people with
Harmony would be
alcohol.
the good option
Right.
because they have food and non-alcoholic, but I know that's also a major burden.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
Katie is like
I
overwhelmed.
actually do have a PA. I just don't know what kind of condition it is in because
Didn't you send me a picture of it?
I think I did. Yeah,
because-
my,
And what Marvin said was, that's not what you need.
yeah, because the one I have, I don't even know what it's for. My ex used to buy things used and.
I got all the pro audio shit you could ever.
Okay, so
sorry.
whatever
So,
mine
okay,
has is
But
probably
we're
in better
gonna talk more
condition.
about this all on Saturday.
Got it.
Um, So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the Art and Music Fest at Wade Creek, the 1% for art at Overlook, which we need to get back on the priority list. Whether or not we want to do some kind of winter sale with Downtown Commission. And yeah, any smaller events or collabs, and we'll have lunch, and then we will move into budgeting. There are 3 grants right now that we could apply for. We'll talk about last year's budget versus actual, and then start making a list of community partners. And I have financial statements from like 2019 where we can see who gave donations, so we can start with that. And just make that more of a focus for next year, where we find a partner to sponsor, whatever, chip in, something like that for each of these events. And then we'll wrap up. Is there anything that is not on here that y'all think should be on here?
Well, I've never been to one, so I
I
don't
know.
have any ideas.
It's only gonna be my second one, so I don't have a lot to go on. But is there anything you can think about that either that we did this year or that we could do next year that's worth putting on here? Because basically this is our planning for the year. And the reason that we do it in September is so that we have a plan for the year before we have a big changeover. Because that way, you know, we're only changing one thing at a time. We're changing personnel or the plan. Nicole did suggest that we do another retreat after the budget comes out. So I think that's like usually June, May or June. So potentially, you know, that's also something we could talk about. But yeah, the intent here is to plan out January through December of 2023. So if there's anything you think we should talk about, it's not on here, let me know. We'll have a big, you know, an easel with like the paper whiteboard. And in fact, for those of you who weren't there, I still drag it around in this bag that is my Arts Commission bag. This is our super high-tech planning document. You will see some of which happened, some of which did not. So, you know, it's not.
Does that say humanities on there?
Yeah, humanities speakers, the Oregon Humanities, Art and Humanities Mission Council, something. We used to have those here, right? Yeah, so they've come and do like a lecture series. But COVID put an end to all that, although they're now doing it again. So when we were planning, we thought surely COVID will be over any day now, and you know, wasn't. So yeah, we'll come up with something like this and
Yeah, stick a pin in it, that'll work.
what Derby was about.
Use it again.
Yeah, maybe like a soapbox
Dress
derby or a, yeah, so anyway, that's the plan. We will have an agenda, we will make some lists, we will do a lot of brainstorming, we will come up with ideas. We're not setting anything in stone like dates and dollar amounts, but we're coming up with ideas that will eventually become real. So that's the plan. So I would like to get this to Sadie to post like by end of day tomorrow. So if you think of anything between now and then, just send me an email. One rule about emails that you should know since you're brand new. We can't reply all to emails that have any decision-making component, even tenuous decision-making. Because if you reply all, it's a meeting, we're supposed to have an agenda and minutes that are Robert's rules of order. So, and now it's been so, I will forget to put it on email, but usually I will say like, hey, let me know what you think. Do not reply all. Just reply to me. So that I don't have to go. "Oh, reply all."
Universal protocol is Robert's. what?
Rules of order. Yes. That's why. Approving the minutes with days and yays and nays. Okay, so yes, by tomorrow, if you think of anything, and I mean, obviously, we're just gonna be in here with a pen and a piece of paper, so like. If you don't think of anything by tomorrow, you can still bring it back to Saturday. But if I can put it on the agenda. Anything else on upcoming events? Questions, comments, fun facts? No, before we move on? Welcome to our newest commissioner. So weird to have to put that at the end of the meeting. Welcome, Mike.
It's really, this is the most official thing that I participating in, so
We're so glad to have
it's
you.
very meaningful. Well, and it is really nice to meet people who are kind and friendly and trying to do things for the community. Being
There are
creative and
some,
stuff. I
right?
mean, really, right.
We're just
right.
kind of friendly though.
Kind of.
Just kind of.
But, I mean, no, I like people who are friendly with the edge of sort of don't F with me, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. That kind of friendly.
Yeah, like, but I'll cut you, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, we're very glad to have you. Hope you re-up.
So is that like a, is there a formal process?
Yeah,
to
you'll do
that?
what you did.
Just do it.
You just fill out.
You
an
just
application.
Talk to you guys again.
Just, take the application you filled out last month, change the date, hand it back in.
Put my newly earned credentials on there. I served on the Arts Commission for 2 months. My list of accomplishments.
Yeah, I mean, so far, anyone who wants back in has gotten back in, anything could happen, but you may have noticed we don't have a lot of people beating down our door, so anyone who wants back on usually gets back on. And then, yeah, it would be a 2-year commitment after that.
2 year, 2 months, same dip.
Right. I think that's how I got roped into this, in fact. I started in the summer and my term ended that December and then I re-upped. So I was, because I was new, I was nervous, like. Obviously because nobody else wants information, so yes, we will get back in.
Can be president.
Yeah.
You are the president. Look
Roped
at you. Can
into being the big chair. Okay. I just submitted the check request to Taryn tonight to pay for Kalaya's art, pay Kalaya for Joe's art. So we may in fact have a check tomorrow. If not, it'll be next Thursday and, I will coordinate with, I'll meet Kalaya here so she can drop the artwork off and pick up the check and, maybe at our next meeting, it'll be right there in that big blank spot on the wall, because I think that'd be a great place for it.
Okay.
Did you ever, so there's a mural on the side of Mike's Mike's secondhand store,
Right over there?
right over there, the life cycle of wood. And this is a pencil drawing of
Right,
the
initially.
mural.
I remember you describing it.
Yes,
Last
so,
time.
and it's, yeah, so it's a
It's a
really great.
long landscape.
Is it
form.
framed? It's a pencil
Uh-huh.
drawing?
It is framed? Great. Yeah,
That's great.
I've not yet seen it or. It
she's
was,
just paying for it,
I'm just paying
sight
for it.
unseen.
Yep.
But it's been,
It was,
it was acquired 2 years ago.
in 2019, yes, we made a plan apparently before
Those
I was
offers, you
commissioner.
just said, that's beautiful and.
Yep.
It was sitting in her house for a couple of years and
Well, and it makes perfect sense to be in here. I mean,
it's the decor. perfect.
yes, it's history, it's Estacada history, it's Estacada art history. So, yeah. I'm excited to see. So finally happened.
There's definitely some blank wall space in here. that
Mhm.
could be-
Yes. Yes.
Let's just hang it straight. I keep looking at that buffalo over there.
Oh.
That's crooked.
Is that
want
you, Carl?
that? Yeah.
That's Carl's buffalo.
Well, I'm sure he didn't paint
got
it
3 of
crooked. It's
them.
just not.
There's 3
Oh, you
versions.
want to straighten it out?
Yeah, Taryn, can you just like lift that corner over there? It's just- it's bugging me.
You've been here for like 4 years,
There's an
almost 4
Instagram
years.
account you would like, oh, please hate these things. And it's all like interior home interiors from like Redbubble at, is it Redbubble or Zillow, those like, official photographs of like a sink that's 2 inches off center of the window, or like the tile is all perfect except for one side, edge or whatever. Yeah, please hate these things. It is.
That would drive me
It is a
insane.
delight. It's a delight.
Mike would be coming right over, Mr. Handyman. I will hire you. Come fix it. I can't stand it.
I also have those sort of things too. so.
It's a good thing that I made an agenda because we do have one more thing to talk about on Saturday, which is the next thing on here. We need a new and improved commission application. So I'm gonna put that under EAC business. I think it was DEIC that started it. This is why we can't have nice things. DEIC with the big ideas. Right now, the commission application is the same for all the commissions.
Hmm.
But that doesn't make any sense, because the commissions all do totally different things. So we're gonna make an arts commission application. And we'll do that on Saturday, and we'll look at the one that we have now and, you know, just,
Bone it out.
yeah, ask like
After I
questions.
told Mike he could just change the date on the other one.
It's funny, you were saying all that and I still have nothing. It's like a vast space in here and I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta talk about that application. Good thing I wrote it down. Yeah, I think that would be great. And the last thing I have on here is that Nicole wanted me to add that she's gonna be treasurer. Did she talk to you about this?
Yes, she,
Okay.
she and I kind of.
Did you know?
Right. Well, I don't, it's such a small job that I don't think we need an actual treasurer. I think that could be absorbed by the chair.
We just have to officially have a treasurer, so yeah, okay. That's the plan. So Nicole is gonna be co-chair and treasurer. And are you down to try secretary?
Yeah, I'll develop my strategy, but it's not an issue. It seems like that's kind of the newbie role.
Well,
I'll-
I mean, not really, because Louisa had been on the commission for how long?
2 years.
I mean, wasn't she an arts commissioner before that though?
She just joined up, I think. She did
Oh,
2
okay. Oh,
years.
I thought she had been on the commission for ages. Okay,
No.
well, anyway, yeah, maybe it's the maybe thing.
Yeah, I'll do what needs to be done. No problem.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you.
Already doing great things on the commission. Good job.
At some
Yeah.
point, when there's a new appointee, I'll be like, so what do you think about me?
Your new role is secretary.
Mentor,
I mean-
coordinator.
I would say this is the first time in my life that I've been the secretary of something, so it's kind of an honor. I'll frame it as that.
Yeah, I mean, put it on your LinkedIn.
Hey.
We shared it a lot. We really did.
All my Facebook
Somebody
friends
didn't show
look
up.
at it.
I took a piece of paper several times and
Yeah.
did the notes and, it was pretty informal and
Right, I'm making no promises for next year's, or next month's notes that I accumulate this time. So we'll see how that goes.
We won't-
You guys might change your mind after this, you're like,
Well,
maybe he's
you
not
know,
the secretary.
yeah. If I have to do a whole lot of rewrites, then yeah, I'll totally veto it, but I feel confident. I won't. Well, that's all that I have on the agenda. Do we have any community updates?
that mural is almost done. We've been cranking on that baby.
Yeah,
It's been 7 weeks, almost 2 months of
Wow.
how is I forgot to ask how the event went.
great.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. It was really fun. It was a 97 or 98 degrees outside on the pavement, so it was about 112 on the pavement. And it was a push, but there was people there and tough people and music and fun was had by all. and
awesome.
The paint dries so fast.
I was gonna say, does that
It was-
interfere
it's
with
called
the
hot
installation
bubble
though?
gum When it worked.
Right,
And we did the last, I think they almost got the clothing done. That's the last wrap right now. There's like 2 bodies that don't have the clothing quite done, but
Mhm.
Reva had to do some augmenting with some, I was rainbow guy. the Missy
Oh, right on.
Rainbow fan. I
Put
was-
that on your LinkedIn.
Reva was so patient. I was scaffold and rainbow guy. I get there early in the morning, and get the scaffold going. Mixing paints and so we had a lot of fun. There was, we had upwards of 20, I think we had 20 people in 2 days. We actually had all the high school students.
Mhm.
Yeah, they all came down for 3 days.
What's the next art bag project?
Well, we talked about that today. I think it's gonna be a redo. The tides are shifting a little bit. Somebody volunteered to do they'd love to do the Les Schwab again. Everybody's just hungry. That blank wall over there is so cool, that blank canvas, but That's why we bought 2 pieces of scaffolding so we could stack. But,
Mhm. Nice.
It's probably gonna be a redo, and they're looking at the trails in
Mm.
and trying to do something with that wall, and we'd have to filthy gun the wall apart and have to be totally defaced,
Mm.
because it would never take paint again. It's already crumbling, and so those are the 2 things. Probably gonna be a redo.
I've certainly been hearing a lot about murals from the community, although
Yeah, yeah, they've been doing some tours and, it's a lot of fun, but man, that's up close. You have to get off that scaffold and go look at it, but you do. An hour's worth, you have to look back and you have to change things, and but I think the symmetry's really come together now. Go, before the sun goes down, go look at it.
It's so great.
You could land aircraft on that street right now at night. It's so bright.
awesome.
And there's a
Excellent.
spotlight over the top of it too, so, yeah, it's actually illuminated at night, so. It's kind of cool. It's those citrus colors. And then it'll be clean up. We have to paint the bottom of it. It got a little whipped with a little bit of color drip, so we're gonna paint the base of probably the whole building. We'll go ahead and roll that cocoa brown and clean it all up, probably pressure wash it again or something. That should do it. It's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. Any other community updates? Art opportunities? Did I mention I won a writing contest?
You did?
Congratulations. I won a writing and art contest, actually. It's a hybrid writing contest from Craft Literary Magazine. It's a essay that incorporates collage, so it's images and text. Very, very excited. Got a big giant check and post it online. Read it.
Congratulations.
Very much. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and I have collages going up in another literary magazine in another week. So try to ride that momentum a little bit. But that's not an art opportunity. That's just fun facts to know and tell. I don't know about any other art opportunities.
I'm gonna enter the Upland Game Bird stamp. I'm working on a painting right now for Oregon State
Nice.
watercolor, so. We'll see. I'm gonna do 3 submissions, so don't limit it. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna
When-
drive them down there and put them on the table.
Nice.
I ain't putting it in the mail.
When did they decide?
It'll be, mid-October. You have to have them in by the end of the month.
Mhm.
I've been working for about a year trying to sketch and do, and there's 2 of them. The practice ones are in the gallery right now. but kinda-
Okay.
They're quail, little
Mm-hmm.
mountain quail,
Mm-hmm.
which are kind of a weird looking bird. They're not like a regular quail. They're a little different, a little bigger. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Cool. All
think
right,
it's gonna
I'll
turn
cross
out.
all my fingers.
Honorable mention.
Well, anything else before we close the meeting? We're gonna call it at 7:36.
Okay.
Next meeting is October 5, although hope to see anyone at the library next Wednesday.
Well, you're
Oh,
gonna see
yeah.
us all Saturday.
Right. I'll see you all on Saturday and then I'll see you all on the following Wednesday.
Okay,
All done.
can I use the gavel?
Yeah.
Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.